Hello, everyone. This is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. How are we all today? Wherever you are in the world when you're watching, a huge shout out to you. It's Monday morning here in where I'm living in Australia, and it's actually a beautiful Monday morning, albeit a little bit chilly. I hope your weekend is going well. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you to those that donate to the channel. Thank you to those that are just supportive of me. It is greatly appreciated, and I really do mean that from the bottom of my heart. Okay, you're the reason why I keep sitting at this desk or go out on my ghostly trails or wherever, or I do my astrology. Whatever I do, you're the reason for it, and you do keep a smile on my face. 99% of you are why I keep turning up. The 1%, well, we just get rid of them pretty quickly, don't we? All right, today we've got a full agenda. We're going to look at an astrology chart for Iran. I've been resisting this a little bit because intuitively I feel there's going to be a great deal of death there. I think this is the start of a revolution in Iran, but I don't think it's, straight away a regime falls. I don't think it's going to go like that. But the astrology chart shows me that the women in Iran will not give up, nor the men that support them. Something powerful is happening in Iran, just as it is in Ukraine. The world is changing. The world is changing. There's a few countries that need to that will experience some things. We've got, it looks like a far right government might be elected in Italy. You've got to be careful about that term, far right. But from what I've seen of the future prime minister, she's pretty far right, and they haven't had that sort of government since Mussolini in World War II. Sweden, of course, elected a right-wing government, and half of that government is made up of very far right. Immigration, it has driven that, as it has in many other countries. It's weaponized asylum seeking, refugees, immigration. It's demonized and weaponized. But anyway, at the end of the day, the country gets what gets the government it deserves at any particular time in their evolution. So fear not. Plenty of countries have gone down that path and have found that it's actually unworkable. And that's where we see the US at the moment, that this far right ideology just doesn't work. All right. Because it doesn't work for equality, and it doesn't work for democracy particularly. So let's go to Iran's chart. Then we'll look at New York. Letitia General AG is going to sue the Trump organ, the Trump and Trump children. If you go back through my readings, I did predict that. I also predicted that the Trump organization would be shut down eventually, and I don't think it's that far away, actually. And the children would become children. The three offspring of Donald Trump would be dragged into this as well, simply because they've made decisions and run that company too. I also predicted it would become a criminal investigation. Okay, Russian soldiers, big mobilization, big protesting. Thousands in jail for protesting against the war and against invasion and against being called up to go to Ukraine. I want to see how that mobilization is going to go. And if we've got time, let's take a look at that. How do I describe her? Fanatical Ginny Thomas has agreed to appear before the January 6th committee and give evidence. We can take a look. If I did read on the Thomases, I felt that in the end, Thomas does resign, and they go quietly, so to speak. How far away is that? I don't know. I do believe Biden gets a Supreme Court, another Supreme Court pick during his presidency. All right, so let's get started with Iran's chart. I've got I've got my son's dog, Rocky, here today with me. So he's been walking around trying to find a nice warm spot. Okay, so let's get cracking on this. Okay, we'll go to this one first. This is Iran right now. Let's get up there so you can see the chart. Yeah, it's Monday the 26th of September here in Australia where I am. I mean, when I look at that chart straight away, you know where I'm going to go? I'm going to go to the moon in Libra. The moon is the feminine. The moon is the mother, and that is in Libra, the sign of justice. Where is it? Not just in any old house at the moment. It's just, I think it's 8 degrees. It's just there in the 10th house, which is the public, the masculine. It's what we see. It can also represent politics. So we've got this powerful new moon actually in Libra right in the 10th house. So we're watching what is going on there, and we're doing that for a reason. And I also want to say that I have seen photos of men with wounded backs from taking the rubber bullets for their women. So the younger generation, this is really about the patriarchy. Here we go to Pluto. Pluto there in our old friend Capricorn, the patriarchy, the male dominant kind of energy. We're moving very, very, very much out of that Capricornian influence there through to where? To Aquarius. And Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius, I have to say, I'm just going to use an old saying. It's saving our bacon on so many fronts, because Saturn in Aquarius is squaring Uranus. Remember, Saturn is the stability. It's father time. It's doing the work. It's the anchor. It's the huge cosmic anchor. And it has been helping manage, steer, guide this Uranus energy in Taurus. We are experiencing huge lightning type changes around the world. And then why the North Node has been sitting there conjunct, I think it's conjunct or just about conjunct with Uranus in Taurus for some time. Of course, the nodes will change next year, I think, into South Node in Libra and North Node in Aries. So we get some new starts next year, but that's for another video. Right now, we're managing huge, huge change, and Saturn in Aquarius, for the good of the collective, is doing its bit to guide the, when I think of Uranus, I associate that with the Tower card, breaking down old structures. Pluto comes in here and says, what is working for you? What is not working for you? What is your core truth? And I'm not giving you any choice. You actually have to do something about it. So Pluto there is sitting in the 2nd house in Capricorn in this Iran chart. 2nd house is about community, property, money. And I'm loath to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Women are considered the property of the men in Iranian culture. Or certainly it's not, this is what the women are saying. This isn't anything to do with the Muslim religion. This is to do with choice. So this is where we see the evolution. Now, of course, it was going to take place in Iran, because look, Iran and now, because look where all these planets are up here in the 9th house in Virgo. Sun is just in Libra, justice, sun and moon. So we see the male supporting the female. But in this 9th house here, it's the ninth house is ruled by Sagittarius, can often be, it is associated with religion as well, and can often be fanaticism, fundamentalist type. Well, that's the negative side of, I guess, religion, how it can be twisted and turned. So there is this real pushback. Now, look, we see what's opposite this sun here. The red lines, opposition, the conflicts, challenges, the blue lines, good, help, harmony, flow. So we see what's opposite. Pulling against the sun in Libra is Neptune in Pisces. And this is why I've in the third house. So third house is communications. It's ruled by Gemini, can often be around the siblings as well. But it's, for me, Neptune in Pisces is about something coming into form. So it can go, it can sort of, I don't know, it can not go either way, but we see something coming into form, and it's largely driven by justice. And when I look at the transits in 2 weeks' time, the sun, I think, is in, is it in Capricorn? We'll go to that chart shortly. So I don't think the revolution will be quickly over and there'll be a regime change, although I'll pull some cards on that just yet. I think this is the start of something. Jupiter, of course, which is expansion. It is opposite. Let's see. It looks like the sun, the midheaven, and of course we see the IC down below here. Chiron, so it's like what we're shooting for, but first we've got to, I mean, so much below the surface, below the ground. This isn't, I don't think, a quick victory for women in Iran. It's the start of something. Chiron in Aries, in the fourth house, interestingly enough, the wounded identity in the fourth house of the feminine, the female, the mother, the wounded identity, which kind of takes me out on that esoteric trajectory to the men that think that they own women, abuse women, are virtually doing that to their mothers, their sisters. And we've got this wounded identity. Where does the North Node go next year? I knew I brought that up for a reason, into Aries. So not only are we, not only is the collective changing, but at the individual identity level as well, we're seeing some huge fundamental shifts, largely driven by a younger generation not wanting to do things. It doesn't matter where they're located, a younger generation not wanting to do things the same way that the patriarchy did them. So again, this Aquarius energy, and Pluto moves briefly into Aquarius. I think it's 0 degrees in March of next year. So you will start to see, like these turbulent months that we're experiencing, you will start to see the impact of this Aquarian influence briefly in March, before Pluto retrogrades back into Capricorn. So I want to say, that astrology, pulling cards, this kind of work has taught me patience. It's taught me to see the pieces of the puzzle which make up a big picture. And Saturn teaches me. I have my Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn teaches me, and my Jupiter in Aquarius teaches me that that leadership is always needed in turbulent times. So everything about Capricorn is not, it can't be thrown out. It's just that Capricorn, in this modern day age of Capricorn, is associated with money, finances, the kinds of conditions we saw in the 90s perpetuating through the 2000s. And it's been associated with that kind of oligarchy energy and the patriarchal energy, because, of course, Capricorn rules the 10th house, which is the masculine. So any Capricorn out there, please, you're not getting a bad rap. It's simply this age. This Pluto in Capricorn energy, and moving from that kind of focus and theme through to the collective, which is Aquarius energy, through to a very kind of fair-minded. I mean, Aquarians they can see a lot. They see the big picture. They're quite innovative, and they I don't find Aquarius energy overly emotional, even though they're the water bearer. They're able to soothe and a wound, basically, with their, it's like an even-mindedness. So the collective, what works for the collective. Okay, what else have we got here? Of course, as I said, Saturn squaring Uranus. We do have this Mars in Gemini in the 7th house, which is enemies, open enemies. The ascendant here is Sagittarius, interestingly enough. So what are they doing? They are, when the woman that was interviewed said this is not about the Muslim religion, this is about choice, they're recreating a more modern day Muslim religion, one that has choice for women. And this is what the revolution will bring. This is exactly what the Ayatollah will not want to occur. So you can expect some bloodshed. So there is an inconjunct here, this green line between Uranus and Taurus, quick change but stability, and it's inconjunct with Mars in Gemini. I'd say they will shut down a lot of the media, a lot of the information coming out of Iran. The reason they'll do that is because they're going to target the protesters. However, the Mars in Gemini is squaring Mercury here. So somewhat they will find a way to get the information out. Okay, so I want to say also that when I can't finish this chart without looking at Eris. She is the warrior goddess of the battlefield. Imagine the biggest badass type warrior woman. She would go in. She's very much associated with fighting for women's rights and fighting men. She would go onto the battlefield and finish off the soldiers. Now, Eris is trining Ceres in Leo in the 8th house. So the women are getting help from the universe to begin this change in Iran. It's pretty huge. All right, let's just go forward a couple of weeks, just very, very quickly, because I've got a lot to get through. And what's going on here? Hold on, let's go. I'll go back there and I'll go here again. So I'll go to the desktop and we'll go here. If you don't do this right, you end up just seeing a blank screen while I'm talking. Remember that inconjunct that I was talking about? What are inconjuncts? They're incompatibilities. They totally wouldn't even be in the same room together, but they are in the same room together. So they've got to somehow sort this out. What is now on the ascendant on the 15th of October in Tehran? Capricorn and Pluto in the 1st house. And the inconjunct is right over here in the 6th house with the moon and Mars in Gemini. In the 6th house, sacrifice, work, public service. These women aren't going to stop fighting. And the trine is up here to the Sun, Venus, and to the Sun in Libra. And what else is here is Venus and Mercury in the 9th house. But they're now in Libra, the sign of justice. And here is Saturn in Aquarius in that 2nd house, trining the Sun in Libra. So we're going to see change. We're unfortunately going to see bloodshed and sacrifice, men and women, as the younger generation push forward and redefine not the Muslim religion, but choice for Muslims. It is huge. It is the new Aquarius age that we're moving into. All right, so that's Iran. Many of you wanted me to look at that chart. I now want to go to, so no, I don't think there's going to be a regime change straight away. I think there's a way to go, but I see this momentum growing there. One way or another, they're going to redefine the Muslim religion and create choice for women. But there's a powerful patriarchy operating here all across the world, isn't there? Putin, Trump, and those that support Trump. The MAGA movement is very much about bullying masculine type of energy, almost like psychotic energy. Of course, psychosis is extreme in its own nature, isn't it? All right, we won't go down that rabbit hole. Let's take a look at the New York investigation of Trump and Ivanka, Eric and Don Jr. So I've just got a couple of questions. We'll revisit it again. She's every intention of closing that organisation down. I said in the end, Trump will be ruined. His organisation will be no more. There'll be nothing for him. And even though he may not go to a mainstream jail, he's cast out nonetheless. All right, let's see. All right. Trump.org, will Letitia James close down the Trump organisation, or will it close as a result of this suit and potentially criminal investigation to come? Will the New York AG eventually close the Trump organisation? Though the three children, the adult offspring are featuring here. There's only two about. All right, judgment card. I'm using the Kabbalistic Tarot. It's an indie deck, so I don't know where you get it. Just Google it and do your research. So it is the Kabbalistic Tarot 5781 by Eugene Vanitsky. Eugene Vanitsky, the Kabbalistic Tarot. All right, so we've got judgment. This is inevitability. It's an ending of a cycle, and it's foundational as well. So we've got fire energy here with the judgment card. She's not going to stop until that's done, I do feel. The other signifier card is we've got the 9 of coins. Now, Venus in Virgo, the details here. She's got the details. 9 of coins can be wealth, the card of wealth, the card of independence. So this has a lot to do when his business is gone. This has a lot to do with his actual Venus, the self, the love of the self. A lot of his gravitas is wrapped up in that business. Of course, we know that's fake. At the foundation of the reading is the 2 of coins, Jupiter in Capricorn, the 2 of coins. This can be manipulation of finances, absolutely, but it also is a high wire act and having to choose. Maybe that's why I only saw 2 children, maybe 2 offspring, maybe one somehow does that deal to extricate themselves. And we know who that's going to be. That's going to be Ivanka. So at the base of in the past, we've got the 5 of coins. Now this is Mercury in Taurus. This is money loss. This is not being let in. And I think this is why Trump always wanted to be the richest person or on the Forbes rich list. It was a lie. It's a lie. I think what we're going to find, and particularly now, we're going to find that he's broke, or has been broke, will be broke. Seven of Wands in the sky here. Mars in Leo. That's interesting. Mars in Leo. The Seven of Wands. He's going to have to defend himself, and he will. He won't go down without a fight. But this is also the AG standing her ground. There's going to be a lot of litigation here. In the immediate future, we've got the Star card here. This is our Aquarius energy. Part of that bigger picture that I was talking about at the beginning of the reading. The Nine of Cups, that's a good card. That's a good card that we're moving out of this, the excesses, the tawdriness, the lawlessness, I'm just getting the image of a pig wallowing in the mud. It's like moving out of that seediness, I guess, moving into something higher, aspiring to something higher. That's what the Star card is saying here, that this Aquarius energy will move through this patriarchal oligarchy type of, Wall Street. Funnily enough, this Wall Street is stocks are declining right now. Nobody knows when that's going to stop. The financial worlds are kind of upended. Many countries, including the UK, are looking down the barrel of a recession. There are reports that children from schools in England, that children are coming to school starving. We've got these conditions and we've brought ourselves to it. We've brought this on ourselves. Okay, in the here and now, the Nine of Cups, Jupiter in Pisces, and this is expansive creation. Jupiter in Pisces, the Nine of Cups. Where do we want to go? How do we want our world to be? Because we're going to get that choice. The Six of Cups, Sun in Scorpio, the South Node in Scorpio, no accident, letting go of what no longer serves us. Seven of Swords in the hopes and fears, lies, deceit. They're going to expose all of that fraud, basically. And this is Moon in Aquarius. Again, Aquarius energy operating in our benefit. What has been hidden? Are they going to close them down? The Ten of Swords. Well, that's the end. Ten of Swords. Sun in Gemini, interestingly enough, the exposure of the duality. Ten of Swords. So this is right down to bedrock level. So where he started, the Trump organization, they're going to close that down. They're not even going to try. They are going to. Here she is, the Queen of Swords. So we have here water and air. And we have the prosecutor, the AG, the lawyer, and we've got that clarifying that complete and utter ending for the Trump organisation. And we have further major arcana coming through to clarify this is the Hermit card, which is what I get for Trump, that more and more the walls are closing in, and he has, I thought before I started this reading that someone can't do that to a country that he's done in such extreme without having to pay a huge price. Okay, the Queen of Coins, we have national, for me, that's security, national security. And of course, this is where we see the Russia relationship really through the Trump organization. And we've got the Eight of Cups. This is like leaving what no longer serves us, moving away from what no longer serves us. Again, Saturn in Pisces, moving away from delusion, illusion. And again, we get to see what we've created, what our systems have created, what our pursuit of money to the peril of everything else has created, and we get a choice about what we want to create in the future. But that just doesn't happen tomorrow. Okay, she's going to close it down. All right, that's where it's all going, one way or another. And don't forget that Bragg has his criminal investigation hearing into the Trump organization in October with Weiselberg having flipped. This is also all part of the puzzle. All right, let's move to Russia, the Russian soldiers. Okay, terrible. You know, young people don't want to kill each other. The younger generation is not the same as the boomers, for example, or, you know, even older, the patriarchal that, you know, thought nothing of sending people off to war. The younger people don't want to do that. It's a different mindset. And again, Putin's extremism is the product of the ending of his time. So will Russians fight en masse? Will all that's mobilized fight in Ukraine for Putin? Will all that's mobilized fight in Ukraine for Putin? Remember, we've got a few more months before this is you know, through. We've got the devil, the devil energy chained to him, Capricorn energy. The devil, la diablo. So Russia is at a crossroads too. And it's the other signifier card is the King of Swords, planning strategy, a toxic strategy. At the base of the pack, we have the Death card, endings, dying for the devil. Scorpio, letting go of what no longer serves us. Four of Cups in the past, disappointment. Disappointment, but being offered a cup. The Moon in Cancer. They will defect and surrender. Eight of Wands, not all of them, Eight of Wands. And Zelensky's very clever in saying, if you surrender, we won't release the terms of your surrender. If you don't want to go back to Russia, we'll make sure that you're safe. That's a very clever thing for him to be doing. Mercury and Sagittarius, Eight of Wands, things moving very, very, very quickly. And the outcome card, the Eight of Cups, which is walking away again. You can see these patterns across the world from what no longer serves you. Princess of Coins, having to make a choice. Princess of Coins, foundational. You know, a lot of them haven't got the choice. They're being herded up, probably families being threatened. And financially, you know, things are a lot tougher in Russia than what we think. And of course, there's this giving and receiving of financial help being paid to go. The Seven of Cups in the hopes and fears, choices, illusion, delusion, Venus in Scorpio. That's a hard, tough one. But Scorpio has a sting in the tail, which means that this is in the hopes and fears. I don't think Vladimir Putin is sitting comfortably at this time at all. Will they fight for the love of Russia? He fears that they might not. And we've got the Hanged Man. Some of them are just going to put down their rifles once they get into situ. The Hanged Man, suspension. Clarified by the Hierophant. That's interesting. The government. The highest source, Taurus. Remember, Uranus in Taurus, Saturn in Aquarius, stabilizing. Doesn't matter what part of the country you are. Like if you weren't looking at houses, where the planets are doesn't change. So we've got almost like if Russians choose not to fight, the Queen of Cups, look after themselves, self-love. Seven of Swords, lies, deceit. They feel that they're being deceived. Wish fulfillment and the Star. It's not, this mobilization is not going to go well for Putin. And so the next question is that will this mobilization quicken Putin's downfall? Some have said, is this the start of World War III? I don't think that's the case. I think this is more the start or the acceleration of Putin's downfall. Will this accelerate Putin's downfall? And of course, he becomes very desperate then when he's cornered like this. Will this accelerate Putin's downfall? Somebody's laying down their sword. Will this accelerate Putin's downfall? There's just going to be a lot of soldiers who just won't fight. Two of Cups, commitment, contract. And the Seven of Swords, lies, deceit. So almost like many in Russia are now, because of this mobilization, saying, hang on, you've not kept your bargain here. We were okay with everything, given that we didn't have to go there and die, but we're not okay with what you've done. Okay, Three of Wands, overseas. I still think that a lot of the fighting force in Ukraine is mercenaries paid for. I think Belarus becomes involved. Again, those soldiers don't want to fight either. It's interesting when the wheel, Saturn in Aquarius, is pulling against Uranus and Taurus. Everybody just wants stability. Okay, so we have here the Princess of Cups in the past, so surprise, earth, water. This mobilization, they weren't expecting to be called up. It broke a covenant or something that they had with Putin. Three of Coins, will it accelerate his downfall? That's working together. This is Mars in Capricorn. I've always said the oligarchy and the FSB or military take him out. And we've got the Moon. Ooh, you'd want to watch his back. The Moon is Piscean energy, delusion. It's what lurks in the shadows. It's this, huge, huge emotion. It can also be lunacy. Okay, so some think he's mad. And we have the Tower right now for him. I like these cards. And the Ten of Swords is complete and utter downfall. He broke the contract to the Russians. They're not going to take this. They don't want to go to Ukraine and die. It wasn't part of the bargain. Queen of Swords in the hopes and fears. Queen of Swords is the truth, a strategy, a woman. And at the outcome is the Justice card. We'll fancy that. Libra. He's getting his justice in October. And I'm not saying he's going to be assassinated in October, but I'm saying La Justice is his outcome in relation to this question. And he gets the Tower and the Ten of Swords in the here and now. And the Two of Coins, making decisions, manipulation, finances, and the Devil. Yeah, the Devil is getting the justice, basically, because what he's done wasn't part of the deal. All Eight of Coins, all skill, Queen of Coins, and the High Priestess. There is somebody else here that's currently plotting against him that will take advantage of these conditions. He has enemies, a lot of enemies within his own house. Dictators don't last forever, particularly ones that break the essential pact or covenant with the people, the masses that support them. Okay, so I said if we've got time, I don't know how long this is going for, but I said we'd look at Ginny Thomas and her testimony to the January 6th committee in America. They reckon that the Muslim religion is, extreme. Well, it's no more extreme than the pseudo-Christian nationalism that Thomas has bought into. I saw pictures of people being baptized in a bathtub with a Trump sign on the back wall, and they're being baptized for, they call him Orange Jesus. We call him Orange Jesus. I mean, oh dear, I run a mile from any kind of indoctrination. All right, Ginny Thomas. Show me what's in her future, Ginny Thomas, what's in her. It's a time glass, an hourglass that I'm seeing. The sand is running through it. There is a black kind of line there that I can't see how quickly this is going to go. or what is happening here, but she's holding back. She's going to hold back information. So what does she do? Plead the fifth? The Supreme Court Justice's wife pleads the fifth and says, I'm not going to answer that question because it might incriminate me. I mean, really? How's Putin Thomas going to fare during the January 6th committee's interview with her? Show me how her interview is going to go. Show me what happens to Ginny Thomas. The wheel of fortune is turning. The Ace of Cups, emotion, new starts. The other signifier card is justice. You know, the Ace of Cups can also be overflowing emotion. We've got justice here, the balancing of the scales. Page of Wands, she will give them something. She's giving them something with this Page of Wands here. We're going to hear a salient something fact or salient evidence she's going to produce. But she's also in the past, she's like, this is like someone who's not given it up. That's in the past though. Seven of Pentacles. She's going to be quizzed a lot on the finances here. Who funded what? You know, was she in contact? Did she have anything to do with the funding? This is going to be a critical question in the interrogation. And her relationship with Trump, the Lovers card. Wow, this is maybe why the Thomases go quietly in the end. It's sort of like she's carrying a lot of evidence. She's going to give up one thing, but she's not going to give up a lot. But we've got the Eight of Cups here, resignation, walking away from what no longer serves. If you don't think that, you know, that it is difficult, as rightly it should be for the Thomases, that's where they are at this time. He shouldn't be sitting on the Supreme Court. In the hopes and fears, we've got families drawing her family into it, but also the voter. This is the voter. And we've got the Hanged Man as the outcome, suspension, pausing, stopping something, clarified by the Seven of Cups, illusion and delusion. We get to see very clearly her delusion and rank partisanship. This is not a good look for Thomas. King of Wands, that is the lawmakers, very skilled, will illuminate. And I think her evidence is critical to the money, to tying Trump somehow into the money and who funded what, who funded getting all those Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, QAnon people to the ellipse. Is that what it's called? That's where she comes in, because she's got knowledge of that. She did that herself. She funded some of it. And they're going to make a connection between her relationship between her Trump and being part of that cultish type of energy. Okay, so that's just before I go, I just want to pull an oracle card for the overarching energy. Always say the overarching enemies, the overarching energy. Enemies. I keep getting enemies. Whoa. Okay. All right. Let's have a look. The overarching energy for this week ahead. The overarching energy for this week ahead. Show me in 3 cards. Overarching energy. Ha, lovely giraffe drinking from a pond. Or is it a cow? Animals. I'm not sure why I'm thinking of animals. Droughts, perhaps water. Issues around water. Water allocation, water to keep things going. There's some areas that are really in drought, and that they're going to come to the forefront this week. Show me, not in Australia. You can have some of our water. We've got now deluge and flooding again here in Australia. All right, so show me clearly the energy for this week. Oh, it's interesting, an obelisk type energy with light, dark ball and light around it, flow, going with the flow, remembering that this is part of a bigger picture. No matter where we are in this world, it is part of a bigger picture. Water, very much water is the energy here. Why am I thinking that? Flow and water. Look at that theme. What is this? What is going on here this week to do with water and flow and lightning? Okay, storms and flooding again. Water is the emotions as well. We're being challenged on all fronts. One more. But what happens after the storm? The rainbow appears, base of the pact circle, supporting one another through these difficult times. So a lot of things coming through this week, both an accent on drought, lack of water, also on flooding, hopefully not more flooding in Australia. We also see the metaphor of water being the emotions, not putting up blocks, going with the flow is key. And after the storm, after all those tower moments, after all that work that Uranus is doing to give us the choice about our future, after the storms come the rainbow. What do rainbows signify? Well, yes, it's a healing of the chakras. All the colors of the chakras are in the rainbow. So it's a wholeness, but also wishing. Make a wish here with this rainbow. Set your intentions. How are you going to move through changing times? And what choices do you want to make about your future? That's it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. As always, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be back again with another reading soon. Bye for now.